Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael and this is Happy Goose Reacts. Today I'll be continuing my Death Note reaction series. I am currently going to be watching episode 5 called Tactics. And yeah, the last episode was probably my favorite thus far out of the 4 that I watched. Seeing how smart Light can be when put in a situation where he has to be was very interesting to see. The whole point of the last episode was to figure out the identity of the person who was following him, who we found out his name was, I wrote it down here so I won't forget, Raye Penber, FBI agent. Because we had learned that the FBI has gotten involved in this case trying to find Kira, Light. I just say Light because I feel like I can't pronounce it right. Kira, whatever. Yeah, it was so well planned, and he is using the rules of the book to his advantage, which is very interesting to watch it play out. The first time we saw him figure out how to bend the rules of the book in his advantage, well, not bend, but rather just use what's available to him, is once they figured out that they were narrowing it down to a high schooler instead of doing it being in between after school hours and whatnot. He figured out he could assign a time each day from an hour a day, killing 23 people. This only lasted 2 days before they caught on. But the next one being what we saw last episode. He asked this girl out on a date to get on the bus because he knew he was being tailed. He wrote that this guy who we saw on the TV, he was a criminal. He's like, all right, I'm just going to use him. And because it had to be something within reason what the person would do anyways, which is what he learned through his experiments on the 6 people, where 3 of them did something that was within reason of their character and possible, and the other 3 couldn't do it because they were 3 impossible tasks. So this guy gets on the bus, and he hijacks the bus essentially. Everything going according to Light's plan with what he wrote down in the Death Note to happen essentially, because I mean, once you write it down, that's how it's going to play out. And then he writes this note for the girl that he's taking on this date to look at, and she reads it and then that forces the FBI agent to kind of step up and be like, no, don't do this, you're going to hurt yourself. If anything, I'll be the one. And then calls him on a bluff, saying that maybe he's an accomplice, forces him to show his ID, which was, like I said in the last episode, signing his death warrant. But then the biggest twist, and I think probably the coolest thing Light has done this far, was having that second note in his pocket ripped out of the Death Note, so that when he dropped it, excuse me, and then the criminal picked it up, he could see Ryuk. So he thought he was hallucinating and freaking out, and started unloading the gun at the back of the bus. Told the bus driver to pull over, got out, and died exactly on the dot of what Light wrote down. That was an incredible play by Light, and now Raye, as far as I'm aware, has signed his death warrant, and we're probably going to see that play out. He's going to have officially killed his first non-criminal this next episode, and that's what I'm expecting. But yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about. I want to try and keep these pre-discussions shorter because I talk too much. I'll start talking more in post-discussion. So yeah, let's get into Tactics of Death Note. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so jumping in right at the end of last episode.
You there?
Yeah?
Listen carefully. I came to Japan as part of a secret investigation, so the local police can't find out that
I understand. I promise I won't tell anyone that I met you, and of course, that includes my father.
Well, then, please excuse me.
Oh,
It's just as I
now he's
thought.
running.
The bus I was on got hijacked, if you can believe it.
A bus jacking?
Some junkie robbed a bank 2 days ago, and I guess he wanted to try taking on a bus today. I didn't think this kind of thing happened here.
So you were already riding the bus when the hijacker got on?
Yeah. And in the end, the guy freaked out, jumped off the bus, and got hit by a car.
Did he die?
Yeah, probably.
See, she's gonna piece it
I couldn't
together.
really stick around to see what happened to him.
You know, it's a little hard to believe that that was all a coincidence, don't you think?
What do you mean?
Ray's gonna
Think
piece it
about You got
together.
on that bus
More importantly, tell me how I can convince your dad I'm worthy of his daughter. Kira doesn't scare me half as much as he does.
I don't know if you're gonna meet her dad, dude. I'm sorry.
You're about to write down the name of that agent, aren't you?
As
The
I was
one
just
from the
saying.
bus. Not yet.
Oh,
I'm gonna wait 1 week before writing his name. If he dies right after meeting me, I'll only draw attention to myself. I'll write his name in here once I've given them time to investigate more
boy.
people with ties. To use some of those inmates I've been keeping alive to play around with Elle a little more.
that's one thing I didn't mention in my pre-discussion. That he left a message for Light. I mean, Light left a message for L. Excuse me.
Gods of death.
Gods of
How
death.
do you know? Gods of death.
Okay.
Tari, tell the police to monitor prison populations closely for the next few days. Kira may use other suicide notes to communicate with us.
Interesting. L is so smart. But is Light going to actually do that? Probably. He likes toying with L.
You're gonna do it here. Let's just say you're about to see the results of all the research and experiments I've been doing over the last few days. Experiments? Yeah. I've been using known criminals who live in this part of town to test out different killing methods, and I've learned a lot about the death note.
Oh my gosh.
For example, if I write a cause of death and the circumstances leading up to it, I can add a name afterwards, and it'll still happen. Ooh, even I didn't know that one.
Ooh. New.
Right on time.
Even Ryuk didn't know. That's pretty crazy, actually.
Mr. Raye Penber. Turn around and you're dead. I am Kira.
It couldn't be. This voice. I've heard it somewhere.
But first, I'm gonna prove to you that I'm Kira. Do you see the man working over
Oh
there
my
at the coffee
gosh.
shop? That's right, the one sweeping the floor. I'm gonna kill him just for you. I'm afraid I had no choice but to
So
kill
now
him.
he's-
I figured if
What?
I could kill at least one person, you wouldn't believe me. Although that man has been repeatedly charged with sexual assault.
Okay, he was a criminal. Holy moly, dude.
How do you know about her?
You seem surprised. I've been investigating you. And if you don't do exactly as I say, she will die. And so will the rest of your family, including you. And that's a promise.
I understand.
Oh
Just
my
tell me
gosh.
what you need me to do. I do have my laptop with me. It's the one I use for work, but I don't have the files you're looking for.
All right. Then take this envelope.
Huh?
But his fingerprints are all over it.
First, take the transceiver out of the envelope, then put the earpiece in and await my instructions. When you get on the train, pick a spot in front of you and don't take your eyes off it. If I see you looking around, I will kill you. Once you've boarded, I want you to take the seat closest to the doors. If it's occupied, wait until it's free.
Dude, what did he write down in this book? He did something that Ryuk didn't even know could happen in the book. So I can only imagine that what he's about to do is going to be crazy. If last episode wasn't proof enough. Okay.
Take the papers out of the envelope.
What is this?
Of those 12 agents you mentioned, I want you to write down the name of your superior, the one who's heading up this investigation, in the space at the very top of the page. Any minute now, your boss is going to send you a message with a file attachment. It contains the names and photos of all the FBI agents currently active in Japan.
But this is...
Now, one by one, you're going to look at each
How?
photo and then write that agent's name in the space provided. You're going to do this for each agent.
Oh my
doesn't make sense.
gosh.
If he's got the names already, why use me? What's he planning
This is a
to do
power
with them?
play.
Good. Looks like you're done. Now put the transceiver and all the papers back into the original envelope and place them on the rack directly above your head. After that, you're going to stay in your seat and ride the train for at least another 30 minutes. When you are absolutely certain that nobody will notice notice you leaving without the envelope, you can get off the train.
Holy crap. What is going on?
Voice. Why on earth can't I remember who it belongs to?
It's one thing that I don't get. Why? I don't know how long it's been. You just met him. He's gonna recognize your voice.
Kira, who are you?
Did he just remember? Oh, he's dead.
Like Yagami.
Farewell, Raye Penber.
Yo.
Raye Penber wrote all of those names on pages taken from the death note. Ironic. Without even realizing it, he was actually signing a death warrant for all of his colleagues. As for Penber's boss, he died of a heart attack after sending all of his agents a file. And the other 11 investigators? They all died of heart attacks after receiving the same file.
What the hell? That is absolutely insane.
You have a call from the director of the FBI.
Yeah, no, what, 13 people just died?
Got a report in front of me right now stating that all of our agents in Japan are dead. All 12 died of
12.
heart attacks.
It's obvious he'll kill anyone who gets in his way, whether they're criminals or not.
So much for his sense of justice. He's a murderer.
He just wants his dream to come true.
Do you know gods of death? Love apples.
Damn you, Kira.
Oh, he's talking about Ryuk.
I figured you're going to find out sooner or later, so I might as well tell you now. I don't want you to be alarmed. I'm sure you've heard of this Kira investigation. Well, I'm currently in charge of it.
What? Are you serious? That's totally awesome.
Yes, you're sitting across from him right now.
The point I'm trying to make.
Oh my gosh, this is so crazy.
The FBI sent 12 of their agents to Japan to assist us in finding Kira, and all of them died yesterday.
Does that mean they were all killed by Kira?
What?
What I'm saying is there's a
Light you.
Dad, you should quit too. I don't want you to die. What if he gets you?
That's
Yeah.
right. Your life is so much more important than some job.
I can't. I could never forgive myself if I walked away from this. I will not sit back and let evil triumph.
Yeah, evil's sitting right in front of you.
I think it's honorable of you, Dad. I'm proud to be able to call you my father. And if anything should ever happen to you, I'm going to find Kira and make sure he gets executed.
Ow! Hit my elbow.
That's him, all right. There's no doubt about it. I remember him because he told us to get down.
Oh, his fiance is gonna figure it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5
6.
men, huh?
Including
well,
him.
6, including myself.
Yeah.
Still, if all of us are going to work together on this investigation, and if you truly meant what you said about trusting the 6 of us, could you come here so we can all meet in person?
The thought had already crossed my mind. After all, I did say that I trusted all of you.
Well, it does not translate it, so I have no idea what it says. Can somebody translate that for me in the comments?
He's been very upfront about the fact that he would need the help of the police on this case. Perhaps we should think of it like he's been waiting for this to happen all along.
Why would he do something like that?
There were a number of people on the task force who distrusted Elle before this investigation began, and once we got started, we had detectives resigning left and right. Following that, classified information was leaked, so I'm not surprised that he didn't trust us.
In other words, he was waiting for the task force to get narrowed down to only those investigators he could trust. And to do that, he needed to weed out
Interesting.
Kira, it seems we're getting closer to each other in equal steps. It's only a matter of time before we collide. So be it. I'm ready to show my face. I'll make my first public appearance as Elle. If you ever managed to find out about these secret meetings, I'm sure you'd feel compelled to move in. That's what I'm counting on.
So that means that it'll narrow it down for him to those five people who they have connections to. He's putting himself at risk to find out who he is.
It's unlocked. Please let yourselves in.
And that's where we ended. Gosh. Well, like I was talking about, I didn't remember it right away. I brought it up a little bit into the episode that I forgot to mention in the pre-discussion, that Light had been leaving like a notes for Elle to decipher with hidden messages, and it ended up being, "Did you know gods of death like apples?" Which is really funny. He's talking about Ryuk. I mean, obviously it's the only god of death we've seen eat an apple, but again, Light and his big brain. Like, that was crazy. I mean, I was right. Ray was gonna die. I guess maybe I missed looking at it and seeing a weak time jump, but I don't know. That was quite crazy. Like, revealing himself like that. Because I guess now I kept questioning it. Why would he do this? Because even if he did, I suppose, figured out Ray was already going to be dead, because he had already written him down in the death note, for my understanding, because he walked off the bus and was like died. So I don't know. That's so weird. But like the connection of, you can write down a reason, or like, not a reason, excuse me, the way that they're going to die, or the way that somebody will die. No, let me rephrase that again. The cause of death and the details of the death before you even write down a name, which Ryuk even said he didn't know you could do. That's kind of crazy. Doing something that somebody that has been alive for who knows how long, having their own death note for who knows how long, did not know that that's how that worked. I wonder if Ryuk's gonna use that now in the future. But yeah, no, he once again used death note paper to his advantage. I wonder what would have happened if he let him see Ryuk before he died. Because like we were informed, he touched death note paper. He wrote down the names of every single FBI agent and his boss, or his superior, or whatever exactly he said, on that piece of paper, so that then Light could just write down the reasonings and everything. He basically did half the work for him. Man, Light is so smart, but in like the most egregious ways possible. I mean, he finally broke killing only criminals, and I was already anticipating that this episode, but I did not expect him to kill every single FBI agent that was investigating this case. That is crazy. Which forced the hand of his dad to kind of out the whole thing to them at dinner or whatever that was, or maybe it was just a family gathering at the table to discuss this. But I mean, it's so crazy that he's having this discussion about his life being in jeopardy, and the lives of everybody else at the police force being in jeopardy, and that the FBI agents died, and Light just sits there and looks him dead in the face and is lying to him, and it is him who is doing all of these heinous and egregious things. And he knows that he doesn't have to fear for his dad, because as long as his dad doesn't know, his dad doesn't die. Kind of how it works. Plus his dad is his only way to learn information about what's going on. I mean, that's not necessarily true. Knowing Light, if he needs information, he will get it. But yeah, I don't know. That's absolutely insane how Light keeps using this Death Note to do so interesting yet crazy and cool. I mean, cool is such a bad word to use for what he's doing, but the way he's using the Death Note, it blows my mind. Like, each episode, Light just gets smarter and smarter with this thing, and it's so scary. This god complex within him gets stronger and stronger because he knows that he will always win. But the one thing that I'm picking up on, I think, this is just my theory, like his dad said, the reason that L waited until now to reveal his face was to narrow it down to the people in the task force that he could trust. Then that one guy left, bringing it down from 6 to 5. Then they went to the hotel room, the first two of them, and L made a statement like, my hope is that he finds out about these secret meetings, because if he does, that narrows it down to having a connection to those 5 individuals that are coming and visiting, which will help him narrow it down even more. It is such a power move that Light stepped out and revealed that it was him as Ray was dying on the floor outside of that subway. That was so messed up. And I know that we just kind of like got a little bit of like a development. I thought that because we got to see that moment in the hotel room, that there was going to be more with him, because we were told it was going to be a week. But like I said, I didn't realize the week had gone by. But now his fiance is one of the best, well, an ex-best investigator. So I think she's going to figure out some stuff here about Light. Yeah, that was a crazy episode. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen next, because both L and Light are so much more smarter than I realize each and every time that I watch this show. They just continue to blow my mind, and the connections that they make, and the way that Light is becoming the god that he wants to become through any means necessary. And now all anything's a go now. He's killed both police and criminals, so he has shown his hand, and now nobody's safe. Well, they know that now, that nobody's safe. He doesn't have a code. He has a code that, well, I mean, technically, I suppose his code is killing anybody who gets in his way. Yeah. I think that's all I want to talk about. I don't really have any predictions for next episode, other than Light's probably going to do some cool yet awful stuff with the Death Note. L's going to somehow get closer to figuring out that it's Light, and maybe Light's dad starts picking up on some stuff. And then maybe Ray's fiance starts to connect more dots. But yeah, I think that's officially it. If you guys have sat here through the end of my post discussion, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate all of your guys' support. It means the world to me. And until next time with episode 6 of Death Note, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and peace.